Morena, and good morning. We've got one of our lovely New Zealand winter mornings here. Sun's out, but it is also getting bloody cold, so I thought it'd be a good time to talk about insulation. Three main criteria. So for us, it was the environmental sustainability, the performance, and the cost. So what we went for in the end was a Mammoth polyester. This is made from mainly recycled content, so I think it's recycled bottles and other recycled content that's then broken down and made into this blanket. Cost-wise, well, I could get a little bit cheaper because from where I work, so that's also a benefit. It is actually generally a little bit more of a pricey product, a premium product, so it's always good to have people in the know. And then as far as performance, well, that's really depends on the R value. To show you the sheet that comes with it. So this is an R2.2. What does R value mean? So basically stands for resistance. We're not about stopping things getting through the walls. There is still a breathability, but it's about slowing it down. It's a bit like adding an extra merino layer or a couple of layers on a cold day. It stops that body heat from escaping. The same with us. We're going to have a heat pump running over there. We're going to be cooking, obviously. There's body heat. It's all going to generate heat for us. The last thing we want to do is let that go straight away. So the thicker or the higher the R value, the better it is at performing. As far as building code goes, this is classed as a trailer, so it's not classed as a building. It's a different code. But it does perform above the current R value of 2 for a wall. We'll talk about the ceiling and the underfloor later because they were done separately. There are other products out there, of course. There's the glass wool. It's very popular, common. It's generally a little bit cheaper, and from an environmental point of view, I don't think it's as good. It's using a raw material, and it's quite an intense production process. As far as how it performs as well, it generally tends to sag and sink, and it doesn't perform as well when it gets wet. So it doesn't have as long longevity. This has a 50-year warranty, and it does perform a bit better when it comes to water, and it doesn't compress as quickly. Other products out there, there's the X-Bowl, the polystyrene. It's a great product. It can be really dense. It can act really well. I think cost-wise, it's pretty similar. But from our point of view, because there's quite a lot of cross beams and the struts are different widths as well, it would make it a bit of a nightmare to actually cut it to size. And I'll talk about tips and how to do it later. There's the spray in. You can once it's all installed, the ply was all in, you could basically spray into the cavities and it would expand and fill. Happy with that as a product. It's a little bit like the polystyrene once it's in, but once it's in, it's in. You can still run wires through it as well, things like that, but it just wouldn't have the same flexibility that we wanted. If you want to like more ecological options, then there's things like sheep's wool. Fortunately, it's just really expensive, so it was that was the stop for us on that one. Tips. So the main tips I'd suggest is make sure this one comes in a roll. It's got an upwards and a sideways. Sideways is more rigid, so basically even over time, if it would sag, it's going to bounce back, or it's not going to sag as quickly. If you do it lengthways, it has a higher potential. As far as fixing it in, these are relatively small gaps, and it's rigid, so we can just fix it in place. But if you've got large gaps and wider spaces, then I'd recommend stapling it in, fixing it in there. I would also recommend getting it as tightly up against the back wall, but also towards the front as well, so it's nice and thick. You don't really want an air pocket between the internal wall lining and the insulation, because then the heat will travel to there. So yeah, having it sort of nicely filled within the cavities is important as well. What else can I tell you? Oh yeah, keeping the wires on the inside so you can see them just makes things easier as far as when making sure you don't drill through them or break them, and then when you put the ply on you can mark off where they are, and I guess in the future if you ever need to replace or reinstall, they're just there for you. I think that's the main tips I've got. Yeah, so mainly so just give it a go, and once it's in, enjoy having a snug, well insulated and warm home for the winter, and also a cool home for the summer. So thank you for watching. I'll post any links or anything that I think will be useful in the comments, and look forward to sharing more videos with you.